Gather round, and let the night embrace you. For in the shadows of this world, there are secrets whispered by the wind, and tales that chill the soul. Tonight, I shall lead you into the unknown, where darkness has a voice and the past refuses to be forgotten. But beware, what you hear may linger long after the story ends, haunting your thoughts and creeping into your dreams. So, if you dare, listen closely, for the tale I'm about to tell is not just a story, it's a warning. On the outskirts of town, there was a forgotten building, once a grand hotel. The years had not been kind, and now it stood empty, its windows shattered and walls crumbling. Yet, despite its decay, one room remained untouched by time, room 213. Legend had it that anyone who entered that room was never seen again. Sam and his friends, curious and craving adventure, decided to visit the hotel. They had heard the stories, but dismissed them as silly rumors. They were teenagers, too old to believe in ghost stories, but still young enough to feel a thrill at the thought of exploring the unknown. The sun was setting as they arrived at the hotel. The building loomed before them, its shadow stretching across the cracked pavement. They pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside. The air was thick with dust, and the floorboards groaned under their weight. "Let's find room 213, Sam said, his voice steady but his heart racing. His friends nodded, and they made their way through the dark, empty hallways. The hotel seemed to stretch on forever. Each door they passed marked with a number that grew increasingly higher. Finally, they stood before the door to room 213. The door was different from the others, intact and oddly clean, as if it had been preserved by something other than time. Sam hesitated for a moment, then turned the knob. The door swung open without a sound. Inside, the room was pristine. A large bed stood against one wall, its sheets crisp and white. A window overlooked the town, the view as clear as it had been decades ago. But something felt wrong. The air in the room was too still, too quiet. It was as if the room was waiting for something or someone. "Let's go in," Sam said, but his friends hung back. They felt it too. The eerie stillness, the unnatural silence. But Sam, determined to prove his bravery, stepped inside. The door slammed shut behind him. Sam turned, his heart pounding. He tried the knob, but it wouldn't budge. He banged on the door, calling for his friends, but they didn't answer. He was alone. He spun around, his eyes scanning the room. Everything was the same, yet somehow different. The air was colder now, and the light from the window had dimmed. The bed, once inviting, now seemed menacing, its shadow stretching across the floor like grasping hands. Suddenly, the room began to change. The walls seemed to pulse, the floor shifting beneath his feet. The window showed not the town, but a swirling darkness, a void that seemed to beckon him closer. Sam backed away, his fear growing with each step. He reached the bed and saw something that made his blood run cold. There, etched into the headboard, were the names of those who had come before him. Each name was followed by a date, the date they had entered the room, and a blank space where the date of their departure should have been. His name was there too, freshly carved. Panic set in. Sam ran to the door, pounding on it with all his strength. "Let me out," he screamed, but his voice was swallowed by the room. The walls closed in around him, the darkness from the window seeping into the corners of the room. And then he heard it, a whisper, faint but clear. "Join us," it said, the voice echoing in his mind. "Stay with us forever." Sam spun around, searching for the source of the voice, but there was nothing, only the empty room and the darkness that now filled it. He felt a cold hand on his shoulder and screamed. Outside, his friends finally managed to open the door. They rushed inside, but the room was empty. Sam was gone, and all that remained was the echo of his last terrified scream. They never spoke of what happened, but they knew the truth. Room 213 was cursed, a place where time stood still, and once you entered, you never left. The hotel was abandoned for good after that, left to crumble into dust. But some say that if you listen closely at night, you can still hear the whispers of those trapped inside, calling out for someone, anyone, to join them. And the door to room 213 remains shut, waiting for its next victim.